Hey guys, welcome back to LOI Fan TV. We're back again for a Game Week 22 preview and predictions. Once again, I'm joined by Ross. Ross, how you keeping?
Good look, yeah, not too bad, not too bad. For
How's the
a
breakup
change,
going for you?
I'm in the denial stage now. Currently, I think I need to come back. Like, he'll be there on Friday. He'll walk into Talker Park on Friday, and he'll show up and he'll be back.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
That's it.
was
When
gonna,
he said denial, I thought you could have bet like, oh, we can do better than him. We'll get Stephen
no, no.
Bradley.
No, he's the greatest manager in League of Ireland history of all time. So he can never do better. But yeah, like it is what it is. But you have to move on.
Yeah, exactly. I
For a
suppose.
change, though, I can ask you if you're all right now. Actually, looking into it all, but Jesus, like you're the one
Uh,
on the receiving
nine
end of getting
points
back to me
clear.
this week.
9 point. If this is what sadness looked like, fucking happy days. 9 points clear. There's nothing to be sad
Couple of games in
about. Like,
hand, it might be narrowed down now. And then
do you
you'd
know
have
what
another.
would be hilarious? As I was saying to one of the Bowls fans that was giving me stick after the game on Monday, I was like, imagine they bet us 4 times this season and we still won the league.
It could well happen. To be honest, it could very well happen. They seem to have your number,
They do.
the players.
To be fair to them, like yeah, they get up for it, and we don't. And it's a
Yeah,
problem. Like three or four losses this season have been to them. So yeah, they've beaten us in the Aviva, they've beaten us in Daily Man, beaten us in Tala. They'll beat us in Crow Park next.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
oh,
brilliant.
I know, but I suppose then jumping into things, we'll start with Bows then. Go on. Bows are playing host to Sligo, so obviously Bows kind of a Jekyll and Hyde weekend, a disappointing loss away to Waterford, and then obviously
Yeah.
significant win against us on the Monday. But yeah, yeah, as you said, like if they win both games in hand and beat us again, they're level with us. So yeah, they're in my opinion, they're in the title race. What do you reckon?
Uh, I'm glad in a way that they won against yourselves to keep it somewhat interesting. I think if you had obviously won it, it was game set and match completely, and there was no kind of not even a discussion. So to keep the discussion alive somewhat, I can't see them catching it. Just that little bit of consistency, I think it's probably tough. I think Rovers will be able to see it out, but it is good to keep the conversation alive. And in fairness to Bose, like I think from what I saw of it and from a lot of people that said it, that was probably the performance of the season from any team. Like they dominated Rovers and they got a spot on tactically. They pressed the back three. They were all over you like a rash. And some of the football they played, like that, I think it was the second goal was James Clarkson when he bundled it over the line. But some of the kind of ticky taka play, like it's unbelievable stuff. Like and geez, Alan Reynolds ball, he's really cooking in fairness to the fella. So yeah, you can have nothing but admiration for their run of form, and they've got some quality players. I think it was always a thing that we looked at was Dawson Devoy, Ross Tierney, James Clark. They're all fantastic players, but can they all play together? I mean, that was always the criticism. Like, did they build an uneven squad, and did they put too many resources into players, but they couldn't play together, kind of thing? But now they seem to have got the click, and it looks like it's clicking more. And James Clark's playing as that front man. He's a splendid footballer as well. So, the three of them are really they're three best players, so you have to get them into the same team. They looked like a struggle for a while, but they've seen like they've got the right formula now, and it's really paying off.
Yeah, definitely. No question the ability of the Bohemian squad. It kind of, yeah, like you actually look at our midfield players, Devoy, Tierney, Clark, Moore, and even Dale Rooney. Like, there's no reason why they shouldn't be doing well. And to be fair to Reynolds, getting a tune out of all of them, and he's getting them on with the same team. So yeah, as I said, they were the best team on Monday by a country mile. They were well in value for their win. So yeah, look, they just need to build off that. Like to look back in that Waterford game, they'd probably be really disappointed because they would have won that as well. They've been on our
Yeah,
coattails properly. So that's
yeah,
just
yeah,
probably the criticism for me when it comes to Bows. Like they're great against us, and to be fair, we like that's a huge criticism of us against them. But they just need to be more consistent when they're playing your Waterfords and your Sligo's here. And yeah, like to be honest, I look at this. I know Sligo are in a rich frame of form. They had a good win against Galway. Kind of a bit of pressure off Sligo now. Like they're 4 points
yeah,
ahead of Galway, no, ahead of Cork, and the significantly better goal difference. Yeah, Cork looking turmoil. So Sligo probably come up here. They probably don't have much expectations out of this game, and Bows probably, will want to continue the momentum. So yeah, I could see only a one winner here. What do you think?
yeah. I guess it's a bit of a free hit for Sligo. They've earned the right to kind of have a go in this one. They don't need to kind of sit back or whatever. I think they get the best. way for them to play now is just to go for. I think John Mahon will be a big loss to him when he got sent off. That incident with Moses Dyer, so he'll be a big loss at the back. But I think they're best off just having a go and see if they can nick a few. Obviously, Jada Kiki, now I think they linked up really well for a goal there on Monday night, and two really young, exciting, talented players. So they have got players that can hurt Bose definitely, but I do agree that I think Bose should be too strong for them. Could see goals that though. I'll probably go. I'll go 3-1 Bose. But yeah, I could see a few goals in it.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Sligo scoring, I don't know. I think if Bows take their performance from Monday into Friday, I think they'll be, significant winners. I'll go two or three. I'll go 2-0 Bows. I think it'll be another solid performance from them. And yeah, they'll bring them closer to the summit of the league. But yeah, I suppose moving on next to the opposite of inform. Cork City are playing host to St. Pat's. Yeah, shocking. Battle of the Bums.
Battle of the Bums. Yeah, yeah, big
There's
time.
two teams that like Cork, I don't know. Like I sympathize with Cork in one sense, but on the other, like I was listening to Gavin Cooney talking about this. Like normally around Europe, like the second biggest city, is the best team in the league and is challenger for the league, and especially Cork is taking a look over there. If they're a one club city in theory, like should be getting huge support and should be up there. And they're a yo-yo club now. Like they're looking set to go back down again. That's be
Yeah,
what three relegations in less than 6 or 7 years. Like it's just not a good look. It's not a good look at all. And especially with Sligo hitting a run of form, like Cork City fans must be thinking, what's going on here? Because they are a giant in Irish football, and they're just yo-yoing.
yeah, no, big time, big time. It's a huge concern. There's a lot of fan unrest up there. They're very unhappy with Dermot Usher and the kind of ownership of the club and the direction it's been taken in. And I think it's been reflected. I think the attendance on Monday night was less than 2,000. I think it was 1,800 or something like that, which is for Cork, like for, as you say, a big club. It's shocking. It's shocking, and it's kind of been a theme this season as well. You do when you look at the highlights of Turner's Crossover. There's a lot of empty seats, which is such a shame. Such a shame. I remember going down there years ago when they were at the height of it and battling with Dundalk for league titles, and the place was rammed, and I was in the shed end, and it was flying, and it was such a good atmosphere, and it's a great club. It's a great club, like, and I think everyone. I think the Premier Division is a better place when Cork City are in it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a massive giant of a club, and they need to be in it, and it just feels like it's a mess on and off the pitch really at the moment. And I think obviously Nick the late equaliser against Drogheda the other night, which could become crucial in the end. You never know. There's talk of, I think, Dinero Daniels leaving the club. I think this
Yeah.
summer as well, which is a massive blow. He's been banging them in for them. In fairness, he's been a good sign, and so it's hard to know. Will they bring in a few? I saw they brought in Fiach or Kelleher, who could make a bit of a difference at the back. Obviously, from it was a Colchester or something like that, kind of experienced defender. So you maybe think that they might pick up a few more points, but here and there. But obviously, if you're missing Keating, Daniel's gone, Maguire's kind of in and out in form and stuff like that. It's a tough sell. Coughlin Sullivan probably go as well, you'd imagine. So it's really it's a grim scene down there. Fans not even behind them too much or anything. It's only looking like it's going one way.
Yeah, structurally, you have to ask questions. Like even when they're in the first division and they got that Jake O'Brien money, reinvesting it into going top heavy with Keating and Maguire and putting kind of all your eggs in that basket, and then obviously losing Keating to a long term injury, and Johnny Maguire has his injury problems too. And then you probably
Yeah,
look into the shining lights of this season, which are Gennaro Daniels and Carlos Sullivan, and both of them probably in a month's time won't be here. So
yeah,
like it's just very grim reading from Cork, and it seems like Dermot Usher is willing to throw money at like Kelleher sign, as I saw. Rory Feely's coming back as well from England. So like
yeah,
they're willing to throw money at it, but it just seems a little bit too little, too late, and it seems very panicky. Doesn't seem to be like a structured kind of approach. Like you look at like a Drogheda in comparison, probably has have a less of a budget than Cork, but like kind of spread it well across their team, build a solid foundation from the back, and kind of go forward, and you know.
yeah.
Like integrating players like Warren Davis and stuff like it seems to be a bit of a better of a structure, but yeah, Cork are in her dire straits at the moment. You have to kind of you have to worry for Jaron Nash and David Moyler driving them forward. But yeah, and then I suppose on the other hand, then you look at Pats, sixth place, 15 points off Shamrock Rovers, same games played. I was listening to
Three losses in
Stephen.
a row, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, three losses in a row. I was listening to Stephen Kenny talk after the game there on Monday, and he's like, "Oh, like really excellent performance by us. Like kind of very like kind of reminds me when he was Ireland manager, like the way he kind of would
Yeah,
put like yeah we lost 1-0, but it was a wonder strike." Like that's kind of
Yeah,
the approach he's
yeah,
taken, but it's not really good enough. Like it isn't good enough at all. Like from a Pats perspective, if it was anyone else other than Stephen Kenny managing Pats for now, people would be calling for his head. So I think there needs to be a bit
100%.
more expectation down there, and I think he needs to be a bit more a bit more honest and real. Like take a leaf out of Damien Duff's book because it's not good enough.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. He's not the type of person now to kind of turn on players really, and I think if there was a group of players to turn on, I think it's these ones. I think it's nearly a case of Pats fans have got to the point where they're willing to see 90% of this squad go before they see the manager go nearly, and I think they nearly back Kenny to get rid of these players. So like it's a case of I think you say that all the time. I think we touched on it last week as well, but they need a big rebuild job like with this team. I think Kenny will get the chance to do that. It's just what can you make of this season? Like obviously the Europe to look forward to, decent tie in that. I think last season they had a bit of a decent one in Europe, and I think that kind of turned their league fortunes around. And they do tend to finish the season strongly. People playing for new contracts and stuff. You can kind of just see through it, like what their motivations are. So it's hard to know. I think both sides will probably look at the other one and say we're kind of glad to be playing these this week, thinking that they can both win or both get a result. So it's a tough one to call.
Very tough one to call. Yeah, it's a tough one though when you think about Pats and rebuilding because like you have the creme de la creme, in your squad, and what you do, throw more money at it, like increase the budget. I don't know, like as
Yeah,
you kind of touched on before, like your Mulraneys, your Albazettis, your Foresters, your Keenas, like the Redmonds, Anangs. I know Anang had a clanger last week, but these are like top dollar players for this league, and like I just wonder, I don't know what it is. Is culturally, is there an issue? I don't know, but yeah, something's got to give. But as far as this game goes, do you know what? I might go for a draw here. I might go for two
yeah,
all.
yeah. I'll go 1-1. I could see a draw there as well.
Yeah, yeah, fair. Fair, yeah. So I suppose I'm moving on to the Brandywell then. Derry City playing host to Drogheda. So you could probably speak on Derry more than I can. Two fantastic results, away at Talca and then at Richmond. So they're
Yeah,
laughing. Bad Michael Duffy strikes something else, isn't it?
yeah. Cracker. In fairness to him, it was a sensational goal, and you just know he's a player that's capable of moments like that. He's done it for year in year out. He's capable of special things, and yeah, it was a really good strike to be fair, and they deserve to beat Shells on the night. In fairness as well, I didn't catch much of the Pats game, but I think Pats probably a little bit more of an even game there. Maybe and Pats were kind of had a few chances as well, so maybe a little bit lucky. But at the end of the day, it's a great weekend for them in Dublin. 6 points from a trip to Shells and Pats. It's a fantastic uh, set of 6 points to get, and I think what's at them in fourth now. A couple of points off Bows, a couple of points off Drogheda. So in a good position, obviously, no European football, so they have two extra games there as well behind Drogheda. They can definitely bang on that door, not necessarily for a title, but for second place. It's definitely a good kind of target for them, you feel, and something that they could achieve.
Yeah, yeah, by all means. We'll touch off it when we get to Galway, but Moses Dyer stuff. But yeah, they had a bid turned down from the player's perspective. So like they're willing to throw money on. I saw there's a player from Scotland coming over. So yeah,
Yeah,
like they're throwing more money at it again. So yeah, it's something's got to give. And to be fair, like two good results off the back of the weekend. And yeah, like they're in a good spot. You'd fancy them here against Drogheda. Like like that whole Drogheda Cork game was mad. I felt like I was watching a game from 10 years ago. Like this, but like nobody there. It was
yeah.
just a bit of a mad occasion, a bit of a negative atmosphere, and then even a full like I was looking at the Drogheda away end. It looked like only about 15,
They,
20
they had,
fans there.
I think they had, I think the 40 people travelling. I suppose it's
Oh,
Monday night, it's tough, I suppose,
yeah.
but like, yeah, I think it was only 40. It looked a bit mad, didn't it? Like, it looked a bit,
Yeah, and
yeah.
then Kev Doherty was fighting one of them. Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah, so, yeah. Come back to Drumcondra, Kev, you know you want to.
Oh, I thought, I'm
He's
sure
sick of
that
it.
might have got thrown. Yeah, but yeah, but to be fair to Drogheda, like to be sick with that Cork result conceded in the
Yeah,
last minute. But then again, like they're 90 seconds away from having two wins off the bounce, so you can't be too harsh on them either. But yeah, down
no.
here, I think it's going to be one winner. I think Derry will probably win this 1-0. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'd be something like that. I think it'd be tight enough. Yeah, I think was it. I think Connor Keeley scored twice. Was it 2-2 there earlier in the season or something in the Van or something like that? I remember Connor Keeley nicking a couple of goals there. Um, yeah, this is a tough one to call. Can you see Drogheda? Sorry, can you see Derry picking up three in the spin?
It was 3-1 Drogheda last time out. Lean
Oh, was it? Oh,
boys.
sorry, Drogheda
Remember, Lean
beat them
boys
down
got
there,
sent
didn't
off.
they? Of course, sorry, yes,
Yeah,
yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah, was it Keeley scored twice? I think, didn't he?
yeah.
Yeah. Of course they beat them. Yeah, yeah. So I'll go for a draw here. I'll go for a 1-1. Such a standard template score I like to go for, but it's just one of those that you could see being a tight affair. I don't think either side will give too much away, and then you don't know what you're going to get from Derry a lot of the time as well. Sometimes they can be in and out of form and stuff. So I'll go for 1-1.
Fair. Yeah, very fair. I suppose then moving on to Tala, Shamrock Rovers are playing host to Waterford. Yeah, Waterford beat Bows on the Friday and then drew at home to Shells on the Monday. You could probably speak more on them than I can, but yeah, eighth place kind of for a while. They're just kind of you fancy if Galway lose Moses Dyer now with him being gone, they'll probably they'll fancy overtaking them and yeah, they're Waterford are one of those teams are like they throw a surprise result out every now and then, but for the most part you kind of expect a routine enough result when you play them, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they're kind of probably getting to get to that stage soon enough where it's kind of mid-table is this season. Like if they can push into the top half or make a push for it, great. But they're probably going to end up in that
Yeah.
eighth to sixth area or whatever. So, maybe have a stab at the cup or something is the best bet for them really. But yeah, they've picked up a couple of results. Good weekend for them to be fair. 4 points. Probably would have taken that if you had it off at the start. I feel like it's probably a game where Rovers will be happy to have one like this, the kind of home game against Waterford to get back to winning ways. I think it's not the worst. It's a good game to have. Realistically, I can't see them offering too many problems for you.
No, no, especially Conan Noonan as well, one of their better players, will be ineligible due to his loan spells. So that's a huge loss for Waterford. Yeah, to be honest, I think this is the perfect game to get a reaction out of the squad. Obviously, Monday wasn't good enough, and like seven
Am
changes
I
were
am
made.
I am I owed a few apologies on Mr. Matt Haley? That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna ask. I'm owed a few
I don't think
apologies.
so. I don't think so. Not yet. Not yet.
Toss the
No.
boy on the show.
Dawson Boy's a great player. There's no question.
He
There's no
is.
question
He
about it.
is.
Like
He
him and
got into
Tier.
my halfway team of the season over Healy, I think, and that decision looks like it's coming out all right.
Two different players. Let's not get back into this, but two different players. Niall Moore and Healy's a comparison. I'm not doing Dawson Devoy, Jack Byrne. I'll do that comparison, but I'm not doing the Matt Healy Dawson Devoy
It'd
comparison.
be more McInnes kind of Dawson Boy, I'd say, rather than Jack Byrne. Jack
Yeah,
Byrne
well,
more
man.
Ross Tierney, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but Graham Burke, Ross Terry, you can
You can mix whatever way you want.
exactly yeah, to suit the
Yeah.
narrative, but no,
Yeah.
no. No, and to be fair, like as I said, like of this new thing now when I watch Rovers play, every time Matt Healy makes a forward pass, I think about you. It's great.
Every time he chases a shadow, every time he's chasing shadows now, Daily Mount or the Divive or Tala, I'm just counting all the shadows he's chasing.
Jesus, no, but yeah. Look, this game will be routine enough. I'll be interested to see how Bradley reacts, to who he takes a liking to, who he doesn't take a liking to, who's he going to drop from that Bows
Yeah.
game.
Did you say he made
Um,
7 changes on Monday? Did he?
Yeah, yeah, because the game on Friday, like he had kind of like he had John O'Sullivan, like he had like Noon and Gaffney and all playing,
Hmm.
and he actually put on Noon in a half time and Dalymount. He looked really good in the second half, so I think he'll
Yeah.
probably start here. I think he's really looking good. And then
Do
Greener
you
got
think it's nearly like obviously it's a great thing to have a massive squad, but when you're making like a good few changes every game, sometimes in a game like that, you can get caught a bit cold against the Bows when they kind of have the settled lineup and their strongest 11 kind of settled, and then Rovers are kind of rotating a little bit, and sometimes you can get caught a little bit cold with that.
I don't know. I don't accept that because like the quality is there. We show it like against everyone else in the league. When we play Bows, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I was thinking
Yeah,
it. I was like, is this because we've so many ex-Bows players in our team and they all like you can see it in them all. Danny Grant, Danny Mandreu, like they're all kind of like not themselves when they play against. I don't know what it is. But
yeah,
it's a mentality thing. I think. I don't think
yeah,
it's a fitness or a lack of game time thing. It's just it happens over and over again, and it's not good enough. I don't know if we need to be more pragmatic and more defensive against them and kind of assume that they're gonna be the dominant side. Like I don't know what it just feels like every time we play balls, we underestimate them, and they want it
yeah.
more than we do, and it's very frustrating. But
Mm.
yeah, as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they beat us again. Like it's
Yeah.
gone to that point now. Like, but yeah. But here, I think it'd be routine enough. I'm probably going to go 3-1 Shamrock Rovers. I think it'd be, yeah, easy enough win.
Yeah, I'll go 2-0 Rovers. I'll go for a clean sheet, and yeah, standard enough. 2-0 solid win.
Fair, yeah. No, so finally, a few talking points from this game. The name in DC Park, Galway United play host to Shelbourne, Managerless Shelbourne. playing a Galway United have just lost their star striker to Cambodia. So yeah, what's the key talking point heading into this one, Ross?
Yeah, yeah. Funny enough, I'm going to be in Cambodia in a couple of weeks, so I might try and secure an exclusive interview with Mr. Moses Dyer when he makes the move over. But I'm going to be there in a couple of weeks. Funny enough, which is mad. But yes, it's one of the kind of maddest transfers ever. Really, not like obviously we've had a few mad ones this year, Lise Mousset and all that. But this is a very strange one. Kind of came out of the blue. Like you'd imagine he'd be kind of looking for, I don't know, like I suppose he's New Zealand's a bit close to home, I suppose. But yeah, it's just a very bizarre. I never even heard of the Cambodian Football League being like a big thing, and obviously the World Cup next year. You'd imagine he'd want to kind of stay in Europe or something and play at some sort of level. Even I'm sure a team in League One or something would have taken a punt on him for his release clause or something. So it's a bizarre one.
Very bizarre. I can't make head nor tail of it. Like I think about the New Zealanders that are Sligo Rovers, like Pinacker and Max Mata, and they're all over at Auckland now. Not the one in the Club World Cup, but the one in the A League. Like
Yeah,
they're doing really well, and like that would make sense in my opinion. Like to
yeah,
go and play for them, your home country in the A League. Like that's probably a little step up in theory from a New Zealand national team perspective. But yeah, this one just makes no sense. I wonder if they're throwing the bank at them. I don't know what his
maybe.
motivation is. Does he want to be closer to home? I don't know. But it just seems a bit weird. Like you'd almost stick it out for the rest of the season, get your golden boot, and yeah, see what's out there. But like this one seems very sudden. He's gone. Huge blow for Galway. I kind of fear for them now because they've kind of gone away from their lethargic kind of defensively structured setup essentially to cater for Moses Dyer. So now they don't have that strike. I know David Hurley's been really good in recent weeks, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is a huge loss for Galway. I can't see them replace him, to be honest.
No, no, not with the same kind of quality. Obviously, what the double digits this stage of the season, he's on course to hit what
20
18,
goals,
19,
yeah.
20 goals,
Yeah.
whatever it would have been.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was having a really good season. Obviously, he picked up the red card there the other night as well, so would have missed the next few games. But so he would have been missing this game anyway, actually. Which was obviously a plus for Shells. But yeah, massive blow for Galway, and yeah, it's one that you can kind of see their season maybe petering out a touch with him gone, and they won't be knocking on the door for any kind of European football. You feel like they would need to keep hold of them to kind of knock on that door. So massive blow. And they're facing the Shell side, who obviously uh, just a mad kind of week, I suppose. Like the game on Monday, obviously against Waterford, came 24 hours after the manager left, and it was probably just a weird position for the players to be in. Probably hadn't even kind of settled in, or like kind of hadn't even took it in really yet before playing the game nearly. I'd say I hadn't really settled in until a couple of days after. So it's been a crazy kind of whirlwind few days for them. For Joey O'Brien as well, obviously he wasn't expecting the news, and it's kind of come out since that he was as shocked as anyone, and obviously he's had such a close working relationship with Duff over the last 3.5 years. So it's just mad that he didn't even see it coming at all or anything. And in fairness to him, he's sticking around. It looks like for the time being, and you'd imagine probably with Linfield coming up, they'll probably just keep it with him for a while. You might even just see the season out at this point, to be honest, and just try and keep it as kind of as little disruption as possible. And I think maybe Luke Byrne coming into some sort of coaching role as well or something. So I think that might be the play for Shells. And I definitely saw a good reaction on Monday, in fairness, and it was a good performance, and unlucky not to win. Had chances to win the game. Norris and Dan Kelly hit the bar late on, and I can see that there's some sloppy, terrible goals once again, which has been a common theme. But definitely played well. It's just remains to be seen if we can keep it up. Obviously, it's hard to know with Shells this season what you're going to get from them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what the play is going to be from a board perspective. Like they were saying that they were going to back Duff, like players like Jack Henry Francis was on loan at Sligo last year. Like people like Connor Masterson were linked. Like that kind of summer window is really great to
Yeah,
kind of get these players that are, in the winter windows aren't available. So I just feel like if Shells don't appoint someone and kind of sit on Joey O'Brien to the end of the year, but to be fair, if they appoint them, then the dynamic change. But if they sit on him in a caretaker kind of perspective, I think they're going to go backwards. I think they need to keep on pushing forward, especially the funds are going to be there to back Duff, and especially this European campaign. If you get by a Linfield, like geez, it's open season for group stage football and building cement in the
yeah.
next couple of years financially for Shelbourne. So yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like if you would have asked me like on Sunday, I would have said Kev Doherty shoe in. But now I'm kind of more leaning towards will they appoint Joey O'Brien permanently? Like I saw he reverted to their forward the back against Waterford. And to be honest, I think that makes more sense for Shells with the predicament they're in defensively. And yeah, he's discussed as a character that's kind of, internally, just a little different from Duff. Demands a lot from his players internally, but not as kind of, animated to the media and stuff. So maybe, it might culturally be a good fit. But yeah, who knows here? Who
Yeah,
knows? Results wise here, I just see a draw written all over this one. Like, what do you think?
yeah. I'd love. I think Shells. I feel like I'm saying this every bloody week, and just thinking that it's going to get a reaction. But I just think that I was listening to Dan McDonald talking on the Indo Sport podcast about Duff and like the sideline experience and how against Derry, like he was literally talking players through the game, and you could sense the frustration coming back towards him. Like I think he was demanding Sean Boyd to close him down, and he was kind of throwing arms up in bits and pieces, and he literally just like if he's such a good footballer that he was just trying to get players to do things that maybe they weren't capable of doing sometimes, and he was kind of trying to coach the game, and they weren't able to play their own thing really. And it's maybe a case of maybe there might be a little bit of a license, like that new manager bounce or that kind of release or something, and we can get a bit of an upturn of form. And it's hard to know, maybe because it's going to be kind of similar enough with O'Brien. It's not like a huge new manager coming in, but yeah, I'm hoping that there might be a little bit of a reaction, a little bit of a spark, and players get going again. Especially when you're playing for places for the Champions League. So there's no more motivation needed really. Moses Dyer out. Galway obviously haven't lost to Sligo, might be a little bit low on confidence. So I'll go for Shells to win 1-0, but it's being optimistic. Like.
Optimistic. You'd have Shells to win 1-0 if the whole squad was out with COVID and they had the 17s out. Like, you know what? Young lads proving themselves, pride in the badge.
For how bad we've been, like really in terms of results, like I don't think maybe a lot of time the performances we put out, we haven't got the results we deserved a lot, but like a top three, top fourth place is still there for Shells. Like if they can get the act together in the second half of the season, like no one's pulling away from them too much. Like it's still there for them if they can get the act together a bit.
100%. I couldn't agree with that more. Yes, like the way I look at the league, like it's like from sixth place up, you've your Pats, Shells, Derry, Drogheda, Bows. I think I just had a feeling about Drogheda falling off. Like even if he's get Doherty, 1000%. So I'm almost looking at it
Yeah,
from a five horse perspective, and it's just a matter of if Pats get their act together. If Pats go on a deep European run like yourselves, that changes things too. But yeah, like what does success look like
yeah,
from a Shelbourne's perspective for the rest of the season?
yeah. Because I've seen people saying right off the league, whatever. I think that's a bad idea. I think you have to try and stay in the mix for the top three and top four. And I think if we can get top four, and then yeah, obviously focus on Europe and or like I don't know maybe if the league's gone, you look at the cup as a good viable option. I think the cup probably depends who you get. You can obviously get a favourable draw. I think Drogheda last year had a nice route to the final. You can get that. You can get a bit of luck along the way. So you never write that off. But I think top four. If you can get top four, and I mean you just have to have a dream about getting to the Conference League group stage. That's probably the priority is Europe because of the financial factor. 4 million, 5 million quid is if you get to the group stage. So priority has to be this Linfield game. If you win that, you give yourself a great chance. But
Yeah.
what does success look like? Having a manager, who knows?
Exactly. Yeah. No, so we'll leave it there. But yeah, guys, there you have it. That's our Gameweek 22 preview and predictions. That's said. Comment. Let us know what you think about what we discussed. Who do you think will be the next Shells manager? Who do you think Galway should replace Moses Dyer with? Let us know in the comments. And yeah, sure. Yeah, drop a subscribe if you're new and give us a like also. So yeah, cheers, Ross.
Thanks, million, dude. Take it easy, guys.